We were invited by this mysterious game dev to check out their game at PAX East. So a few weeks ago, we got this email from this mysterious company that wanted us to check out their game at PAX. And in the initial email, they gave us this mysterious message, and it reads, "Someone's left it on. There's a voice in the other room. You never hear the start, you always catch the middle. It's not your show, but it feels like it's trying to say something. You don't know who left it on, but it's been waiting for you." And that cryptic message kind of taken me aback, because I'm like, okay, we don't know what kind of game it is. We were not given a bunch of other details and such as to what the game is. It could be anything, to be honest. It could be like a mystery game. Based on what we were able to find off that email alone, it seems like it's probably like a horror game, a mystery game, like a mystery solving game. We don't know just yet, but we're gonna find out today what that game is. So leading up to PAX, the day of that's being filmed right now, we got a message saying, here's the details of where it's going to be, and it says it's going to be at booth number 24078, and the vendor is called Dream Key, and then it says like VCTV or something like that. But on top of that, they gave us this video message from Joey Kramer, the drummer of Aerosmith, and so this is what he had to say.
Hey, it's Joey Kramer from Aerosmith. I got word that you're going to be checking out a mysterious booth at PAX East. These folks are up to something pretty amazing. So here's the details. It's at booth number 24078. The booth is labeled Dream Key. When you get to the booth, ask for a guy named Will. He's the only funny looking guy there, and he'll help you out. Be sure to ask him how I'm involved in this project too, because it's some fun stuff. Thank y'all.
But yeah, that's the video message, and so we're gonna go check it out right now and see what this mystery game is about. Come with us, and we'll see what that game is. Let's go. It's pretty nervous for this. I really don't know what it is we're going to be playing, but if the drummer from Aerosmith is working on this, it's got to be good. At least I hope to feel like it's good. Considering he's a musician, I'd like to bet the soundtrack's going to be a banger. We'll see. This is going to be a pretty crazy experience, I'm hoping, but we'll see. All right, getting off, let's go. Alright, so it looks like we found the booth. It's Dream Key right there, and then I believe were you the one that sent us the email?
Yes.
Alright, cool. So would you mind explaining what's going on?
Of course, yeah. So we're here. Thank you for being here. This is what we're showing. So I made a game years ago called Soda Drinker Pro, and so just to kind of set the context of it, have you ever played that game before? Or do you?
Which game?
It's called Soda Drinker Pro.
No, I haven't.
Okay, so it's a silly soda soda drinking simulation that looks very terrible. It might look like it gives you a virus. It's but it's also got millions of players on Xbox One, Steam. It's been in museums and all kinds of crazy stuff. So inside that game is a secret. Well, actually, Soda Drinker is 140 levels of drinking soda. And
right.
when you finish the soda, you go to the next level. You can play the entire game and not know that in the second level, there's actually a game 10 times bigger than the actual game of Soda Drinker hidden inside it. That took me 6 years to make. That's all like this gigantic hand-drawn, beautiful, interconnected world of like hundreds of worlds that are all interconnected.
So are you saying like this is like a meta game, but that's like way bigger than it's supposed to be? Like,
yes.
did people like not find it or something, or what?
Yeah, at first it got a lot of really bad reviews.
The actual game or the Soda Drinker game?
Oh, so Soda Drinker came out and everyone was like, why is this on Xbox? This looks like it could break my computer. And also, why is it 7 gigs? Because it looks like it shouldn't be.
Yeah.
So, and then people started finding out that there's actually a gigantic game hidden inside it. And then when you play that game all the way to the end, you realize why Soda Drinker exists too. So and that hidden game is called Vivian Clark. So that game, you start out as a raindrop, and whatever you land on, you become. So you could say land on a bird. Now you're the bird, and then the bird crashes into a plane, and now you're the plane. And based on what you do in that plane, changes how all the other elements in the world work. And it keeps going until you eventually become the ghost of the raindrop that you started out as, and you go into a campfire and evaporate back into the sky. And
what the heck?
Again. So that's just a little bit of context to get things started. But then what happened was a few things. The hidden game is called Vivian Clark. The sequel to it is VCTV, Vivian Clark TV. So I'll get into a little bit of what that is in a sec, but to set a little more context, in 19 was the last year I was here. I did a performance. Actually, you can see right. Oh, it's just on the screen. I did a performance at PAX of an AI bot performing on stage with a whole bunch of people, and we had a show. We did it for years before all this AI craziness happened.
Right.
And that I ended up getting a deal with Adult Swim from there. And,
Adult Swim, nice.
Yeah, and ended up making a bunch of shows for them, and then my AI
shows. I've probably seen some.
Deep Learning with Meryl Gramble, Bobby Throne. They were all live performed animated shows on the digital streaming side. So, but actually, I made a generative version of Space Ghost with the original people who made Space Ghost, with all the original assets of it, and so that was kind of what started leading to all this. And what happened was they gave me all the assets that went into making that. Are you familiar with Space Ghost?
Yes, I've watched the show before.
Yeah. So that show, they gave me every asset that ever went into it, and that show was actually made from recycled animation from the original Space Ghost in the 60s. And but going through every asset, I found a recording of George, who plays Space Ghost. He's saying, you guys are just chopping up audio, or you guys are just having me say a bunch of general stuff, and you're going to chop it up and make new episodes out of it, and I'm not going to get paid. And I was like, wait a minute, are we doing that? I don't want to be doing that. And so we made the thing, but we didn't have a good solution for that at the time. We were like, how could he be paid for that? Because he should be. And so what we did, it never actually came out publicly. The thing exists, they bought it, all this stuff, but that was one of the reasons why we decided not to put it up. We got to figure that out. So years later, my off-Broadway show's going on, and then COVID happens, Adult Swim gets bought by Time Warner, all my stuff went away, the off-Broadway show went away, and so I'm like, what do I do? Continue building this tech, I wanted to make like interesting new forms of animation and live performance and stuff.
Right.
So I ended up doing a performance with Baryshnikov, the dancer. We had, this was like kind of peak COVID stuff, where we had all these actors from all over the world compositing them into a live interactive space, kind of a mix between live theater and a video game.
Right.
So that ended up turning, we kind of continued building the tech, and then about 2 years ago, when all the AI stuff started blowing up, and all these investors were like, wait, weren't you like working on AI stuff for a long time? What are you doing with this? And I'm like, I am, but I don't know what I want to do with it. I reached out to my friends, and we ended up forming a company, and we turned down millions of dollars to to be able to do this right and do it ourselves.
Okay.
And so what we did was we made a set of tools to be able to make shows in a way that protects all the original creators. So anything on screen that's being spoken, written, or even visual is tracked back to an actual human who made the thing. And so this allows us to be able to do live performed animations, but also do it in a way that is exactly what all the guilds are asking for, as far as like SAG and AFTRA and all that stuff.
Okay.
Like, and we've had this tech built like into our tech since before they were asking for it. So that's the other goal with this, is like, if we are going to do anything with AI, it's got to be doing it in a way that's right to the creators and also to the environment too, because we use a very different technique for being able to process this stuff, and a lot of it doesn't even use LLMs or anything. So it's like, but when it does, instead of millions of people calling into an LLM, it's just one, and it's one thing sent to one device that then processes.
So it's not. So you're saying that it's not connected to something that's collecting data from a lot of other things, especially if it's unsolicited.
Exactly. Yep.
So everything here, everything that is sourced has been consensually submitted.
Yes. Yep.
Okay.
Any voices that are cloned are tracked to a person that has a dashboard. They can see how much has been used, and they get paid for it. So
Okay.
That's,
all right.
That's like all of our friends. We've been in the entertainment industry for all our lives, and so we're not going to be doing anything that's going to mess with anyone in that industry. And also, I think it's going to make better content. Like if we can make more opportunities for people to make stuff and do it in a way that's like nice, not messing with the environment, and like giving more voices a chance to make their stuff. That's a good thing. But we're trying to make it like stuff that you couldn't make otherwise. So we're not trying to like replace traditional animation or anything like that, because I love traditional animation. I want to mess with that.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
like,
So do I.
Yeah, but the type of shows that we're making, you couldn't make via traditional techniques. Like this is happening right now. This is people are interacting with that host, sending him in questions, and he's performing it, and it's that's live. And to me that's really interesting and fun.
Yeah.
And, it's that's. Thank you. Oh yeah, and this is Dudes. That's actually, you can see him here. That's
okay. That's
our network. So episodes, and talks to the chat and plays games with them and stuff, and there's like kind of an ongoing narrative that happens to him throughout the day, and that's all kind of like live DJ'd by a human behind the scenes. So Sean is running the stream right now out of Maryland, and he knows what shows are coming up, who's listening to what, and kind of can adjust the shows on a fly, similar to like a DJ would like pick the right songs and the vibe of the room. And so like that's the other kind of part to this, is we're really like leaning into having it so like the humans are always running the whole thing. Like there are things that the AI can do that it's very good at, but it doesn't like
it's more of a supplement than a replacement.
Oh yeah, I mean we're not replacing anything here. If anything, we want to add more. I mean, we hire tons of artists and riggers and people who are doing all this stuff, and that's writers like that guy there. He has at least 300 pages of like human written content that forms his brain, his memories, his beliefs, his physical, psychological attributes that then cause the output of the show to be different. And that's actually like, if you don't have that, if you just say to an AI, write me a story, it will be the most boring story with no I mean, anytime I've done it, I don't know, I don't get anything good out of it.
So
But if you have like actual humans who have a vision, and they're doing it from things that they care about, and they have a thing that they want to implement, then you can get some really cool stuff. And like this guy here, like I see some of the things he says, and it's beautiful. It's like very unexpected, but it's because it's coming from Sean, really, and it's Sean's voice, who is cloned too, and so it's weird. Like people think he's just behind a mic talking into it, because it sounds very real, but like that even when I had the off-Broadway show, it was similar situation where like people would think that I was just backstage with the mic making kind of Wizard of Oz style, but like I put a thing into the show where I would purposely go on stage to like move the microphone so people would know subtly that I wasn't backstage doing that. But there was no LLMs in that show, and I'd have all these like machine learning people come into my shows wondering how I was doing it, and the way I was doing it is like using the type of AI that powers the ghosts in Pac-Man, and that has been around for 40 plus years, and those ghosts are still interesting, and you know they're balancing tension and release, and you know like what there's a lot of ways to do it. I don't know, you know, it doesn't have to be so resource heavy, and it doesn't have to use like LLMs for everything. You know, like,
yeah,
I feel like that's
correct.
being shoved down like everyone's, you know, throat right now, and I'm like, I've been doing this like 7 years.
There's a more ethical approach to it, I guess. Yeah.
And it's like, you know, never going to be 100% perfect, but none of it is. You know, it's like even with video games and everything else, it's like, but we can do our best with it, and it's like, I want to set the standard for this stuff. And
okay.
Like, you know, like right now, like we're working with huge creators and artists and people who've made big shows that like, I mean, we're making a show with like Topper Peru. He created the TV show Martin. There's like a fellow at MIT and all this stuff. Like those are the type of people that like it has to be at the level of something that he would actually be happy to release and put out into the world, but also like streaming until midnight every night at PAX, and then after that we're going to be kind of doing it more like event-based a couple times a week, doing like larger streams and releasing new shows constantly. Oh, and also I sent you the video of Joey too, right?
Yes.
So I'll give you the input on that.
Okay, all right. Yes. So what is Joey Kramer's role in this? Like, why is he like partaking in? I didn't know all the details. Like, I wasn't really giving
it was
anything.
Totally mysterious, and the reason why is because it's a bit of a story, you know, how it all comes together, and it's like if I was just like, oh yeah, we got AI shows, and we're like, it's not AI shows, it's all these other things too. But it's but with Joey, so we, you know, in the beginning we turned down like millions from a bunch of different folks, and we did that because we wanted to make sure this was like, we weren't beholden to anyone other than ourselves, and you know, eventually we ended up meeting with Joey, and he really dug the whole idea behind it, and he got behind it because of really our commitment to like content attribution, royalty tracking, and protecting artists, and that's something he's really passionate about. And also, he wants to make a show with us, and we're making a very, very, very silly show that will be out. That is like, it's like the most charming, kind of heartwarming, unexpected show from him. And but you know, that's kind of the vibe with like we have stuff that's like scary stuff and kind of more kind of like chill stuff. It all varies, but it's you know, we got new stuff coming out all the time. So
I'm excited to see what's up ahead too. You know, with this project and everything.
Thanks so much.
But yeah. Well, thank you for showing us this.
Thank you. Any other questions or anything?
I didn't have any other questions. Well, tell them where you can start watching all this and where they can interact and where they can learn more.
Yeah, so you can learn more at VCTV9000.com. Come join us on twitch.com/VCTV is our channel. You can interact with the shows and play along, and you know, hope we're making shows that you enjoy. And if we're not, check back in a week and there might be a new show. So we got new stuff coming out all the time, and we're, you know, listening to the audience, and you know, if you got ideas, you know, we've come up with all sorts of silly stuff all the time. So we want to just make something fun and playful that can hang out, and it's a live thing. So yeah. So
thank you. Is there anything else you'd like for us to try interacting with or anything like that, or?
Oh, I mean, you're welcome to check out any of it. Right now, this show, the way it works is this one, there's like a bit of a line of like of people who've already sent in their stuff, so it's kind of like he's responding to different questions that people have sent in already. So it'll switch to the next show at some point. I don't know how far along this one is in it, but you're welcome to listen to it and hear any of them if you want.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, thank you. Yeah, I'll take one of them.